Welcome to the Goliath Sourcing Academy podcast, where we talk all things property deal sourcing, packaging, business systems, and outsourcing. Whether you're sourcing for yourself, packaging deals for others, or a bit of both, then you're listening to the right podcast. Get more strategies, tactics, and tips for sourcing killer property deals over at GoliathSourcingAcademy.com. Now, here are your hosts, Mark Dunsmore and Brad Lazarus.
Hello and welcome to the Goliath Sourcing Academy podcast. This is session 41. My name's Brad Lazarus. I'm here with Mark Dunsmore. How are you, Mark?
I'm very well, thank you, Brad. How are you?
Good. Rocking in this September sunshine.
I know. It's a bit of a novelty, really. We've had all sorts of weather recently, but at least today it's warm, not just sunny, warm.
I know, it's lovely. And I'm also noticing, for those listening on audio, you won't be able to see Mark's rather fetching blue backlit shelving. He's got some odd blue. Odd? No, it's not odd. It's really nice, actually.
Thank you very much. Goliath blue.
Goliath blue, yes, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So
there's thought that goes into these things, Brad.
No, it's good. It's very nice, actually. I am quite enjoying it. So actually, I got a new backdrop. This is my new office. For those of you that are listening on audio only, I'm sitting in my new office. If you want to actually join us on video, we are on. You can find us on YouTube and actually on the web page where on our website where this podcast is actually hosted as well. So you're welcome to watch us on video as well. So
I thought you were about to invite everybody to your home office.
To my house, yeah.
Come and have a look. We're doing a tour.
Lockdown? What lockdowns?
Monday
so listen,
to Thursday.
What have we got? What have we got on the show today?
So we have got, we thought it would be very topical we get asked quite a lot about this, both in our Facebook group from our members, in the members only community in the Insider Circle, and just generally in chit chat, all things property. We get asked about whether now is the right time to start pretty much any property business, to be fair, but today we're going to be talking specifically around deal packaging, so packaging deals up for a fee. So we're going to be covering that, and then in line with the theme of deal packaging, we are actually running a Sourcing with Mark session today on the chicken and egg debate of deal packaging, which is, do we find investors first or do we find the deals first? Again, a very much asked question in the deal packaging world. So we're going to address those topics today.
Yeah, that's a huge one, isn't it? There's so many people ask that question, don't they? So which is it's good. We're going to put it to bed, so to speak.
We are, and the answer isn't what people might think.
Right. Oh, well, hang on, listeners, for that one. Viewers as well.
Or was that another session?
Okay. Well, look, in the for the Facebook group Q&A session, obviously Mark's talking is now the right time to start a deal packaging business. So if you've got a question which you want answered, do join us inside the Facebook group. It's totally free. I think we've got over 7,500 members in there now. You can find it two ways. Either just type in goliathfbgroup.com, or you can go onto Facebook, search for Goliath Sourcing Academy, and you will find a link to the actual Facebook group where you can go and join and ask your questions and get involved in the conversation. So on that note, let's get on with the show and the Facebook group Q&A question.
Now it's time for the Goliath Facebook group Q&A session. Got any burning property sourcing related questions? Tap into the minds of hundreds of property pros just like you inside our free Facebook group. Head over to www.goliathfbgroup.com.
Right, so like we just referred to, today's topic for the Facebook Q&A, general Q&A from most people that we speak to at the moment, is with regards to, is now the right time to be setting up a deal packaging business? And you might be right in thinking that maybe it isn't because of the way that the market sits. Now, what's very interesting about the market, as those of you who tune into the Goliath Property Matters newsletter will know, we have regularly commented on the fact that property prices at the moment are high. They're an all-time high, and they are also achieving 98% of the asking price that is being asked, hence the asking price. And what's interesting about that, for those of you that have followed our comments, will know that I'm not entirely convinced that those transactions are going to complete, which is important to remember. It's all well and good reporting that sales have been agreed, but it's more completed sales that we're interested in from a property angle, because that is what will determine the prices as we move forward. But what is also interesting is the fact that we are at, if you look at the property cycles of days gone by, you will know that before every crash comes a buoyant, strong, ludicrously highly priced property market that is effectively just teeing itself up for the fail. And this, in my opinion, is no different. And what that comes with, of course, is opportunity for those that are prepared to wait for the right time, but also wait and educate themselves, build the networks, build the relationships up, play the waiting game, but be in the strongest position that you could possibly be in when the opportunities start to present themselves. Now, that when those opportunities might arrive is anyone's guess, but for those who maybe want to analyze the markets a little bit, if we think about the stamp duty holidays that currently exist, the furlough, and the length of time that repossessions take to come around, we're predicting that the property will really start to sort of ache and start to groan a little bit to come towards the end of 2021, where the opportunities will really start to present themselves in early to mid 2022, where the market will start to dip. Now, whilst that might seem a long way away, if this year is anything to go by, I don't know about you, Brad, but I can't believe that we're pretty much at the mid of September for this year. It's just flown by, even with everything that's gone on. At times, lockdown really has meant days felt like weeks. But even still, we find ourselves in mid-September. So, the reality is that you're going to need to really focus on building those networks, building those relationships up, having that focus, having the education. For those of you that maybe are just getting into property, you need to make sure that you are giving yourself the best chance of success by being ready for when the opportunity comes. As we all know, there's several sayings around there about, not following what the sheep do, and if everyone else is doing it, it's too late. Well, the reality is that this is the time now. While everyone's shying away from it, while everyone's moving away, this is when you really need to start focusing on that deal packaging business, because when the opportunities come, which they will, you need to be there at the front of the line, ready to get them first.
Great stuff. Great answer. Who actually asked that question? We don't know who actually asked that question.
Well,
but
there's quite a few people that asked that question.
Yeah.
It would be hard to narrow it down to one
Numerous,
person.
let's call
Numerous.
it. Not that, yeah, Mr. Numerous. But yeah, it's obviously the market's changing fast, the situation's changing fast. So it's really important that people are up on the latest news. So if you're looking for a great source of curated news, property news and information, then we've got you covered there, because if you go to goliathsourcingacademy.com/newsletter, we put out a weekly newsletter called Goliath Property Matters, which is weekly commentary on property news that matters to you in your inbox Wednesday nights. So it comes on an email, it comes on a podcast as well, which you'll be able to find a link to if you get on the email or go to our website. And it also comes out on video as well. So we present it in lots of different ways. So get stuck in with that. Go to goliathsourcingacademy.com/newsletter. And obviously, if you want to get involved in any conversations around property news, then the Facebook group is the place to be. Okay, what we got next? Next up, Sourcing with Mark.
Sourcing with Mark. Innovative and advanced strategies for doing better property deals.
So probably one of the most commonly asked questions when it comes to both our paid community and our free community is whether to find the deal first or the investor first. Now, this of course relates specifically to deal packaging businesses, but I want you to keep an element of sourcing for yourself in the back of your mind as we go through this session, because it's very important to get that mindset solid in order to be able to package deals as a business anyway, but specifically when it comes to finding deals or finding investors first. Now, before I go into that part of the session, what I do want to do is give a little bit of time to sourcing to an investor list, building a generic investor list. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of educators out there who have decided that the quick win for them in terms of an ego boost is to get their trainees, their students, to go out and basically post on social media looking to build an investor list. Are you looking for deals? Are you looking for this? Are you looking for that? Sign up to my mailing list, drop me an email below. All of that nonsense. Now, the reality is, in our opinion, that is a complete waste of your time, your energy, and your resource. And actually being given that as a task list serves the trainer more as a bit of an ego boost than it does to the students. And I'm going to tell you why that is, because I think it does form quite a serious foundation for the deal or investor first question. Now, the reality when it comes to building a list, I'm going to justify my thought process because, of course, some of you will be thinking I'm talking absolute nonsense and no doubt have sourced to a list before and managed to package up that deal. The reality is when it comes to building investor lists is that most people do it incorrectly. What they do is they go after a generic list of investors looking for any type of deal possible because they think that a big volume list is going to mean that they package deals more quickly. The unfortunate side issue of building a list is you will get a lot of people who sign up to your list that probably have very little to no intention of ever buying a deal from you in the first place. What that means is that it has a double whammy negative effect. The negative effect that it takes up your time and energy to message out deals and information to that list. But also what it does is it knocks your confidence when you get no interest back from those emails that you send out. Now, what that means with no interest is that you have to then go back to the agent with your tail between your legs because you weren't able to find an investor as quickly as you had hoped in the first place, despite the fact that you have got this list of hundreds and hundreds of people that someone is bound to want the deal that you have sent through. The confidence is knocked. You then start to question whether that is a good deal or not a good deal. And then you start to go into the social media groups and start asking, what does a good deal look like? What is good? Why is this not working? Why are my investors not interested? Etc, etc. Now, I know that some of you listening or watching to this will have either gone through it yourselves or you will have been able to watch it very publicly happen on various social media channels. And the reason for this, like I mentioned just before, is that the investors on that list, the majority of them, I'm not saying all of them, what I'm saying is the majority of them are really tire kickers, time wasters, other sources quite often, more often than not. And then you end up wasting a lot of time after people that were never, like I mentioned, going to buy those deals from you in the first place. So how do we combat that problem? Because of course, having an investor list is not a bad thing. What I'm talking about in terms of investor lists are those lists that are just simply names and email addresses of people that have come to you from a very public open post that just says, register with me if you're interested in investing in property. Money not making enough interest in the bank? Come to with me, I'm going to invest it better and get you a better return, all that stuff. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to move more into the investor list, the way that we feel you should be working with investors, the way that we teach our students how to operate in the Goliath Sourcing Academy's Insiders Circle. Now, before I do that, what I want to do is bring you back to the beginning of this session where I said about having the mindset of sourcing the deals for yourself. Whether you're looking to go straight into a deal packaging business or not, the chances are that the reason that you've got started in property investing is because you are interested in investing in property for yourself. That generally means that there is a strategy that you are interested in. There is also more than likely an area that you are interested in as well. So what you want to do now is you want to focus your deal packaging business around those two things: the strategy that you're interested in and the area that you're interested in. The reason being is that you are now going to feel passionate, confident, and driven to go out and start generating leads for those particular deals. Now, yes, you might be in a position where you are unable to go through with those deals yourself, but that's probably the reason why you started a deal packaging business in the first place. So if it is the reason why you started a deal packaging business in the first place, why not focus on the thing that you're interested in? Do it for other people, build up a pot of cash, build up your experience, and then of course go on and start building that portfolio yourself. I'll come on to some of the benefits of that in a little minute. But of course, by doing that focus and finding investors that are aligned with that focus is going to give you a much more dedicated thought process. You're going to be building relationships up with the right people. You're going to be building the right relationships up with agents. You're going to be sending inquiries through that are specific around the needs of that property investment strategy. Now, deal first, investor first. Well, actually, the point here is that you've already decided on your focus. You've already decided on the strategy in the area. So now what you need to do is actually do it simultaneously. You want to find your deals, because lead generation, if we're honest, often takes time. You're going to have to view properties, you're going to have to send out direct vendor communications, you're going to have to build those relationships up with your investors, with your estate agents, and you're going to probably be putting in quite a few offers, taking time to build those, nurture those relationships. All of this, in the meantime, you want to be building those relationships up with investors. Now, I don't mean posting on social media just saying, "Hi guys, is any investors looking for deals in leads?" Because the reality is what you're going to get is a lot of people coming back to you going, "Yeah, I'm interested in deals in leads, I'm interested in deals in leads." Not who knows what strategy they're interested in. The fact is that is what you will get on social media. What you actually need to do is leverage other people's posts about where people are interested in investing. You can do Facebook searches, for example. Then what you need to do is you need to reach out individually and speak with those people and see whether they are aligned with the strategy, the deal type that you are sourcing for yourself. And of course, for those VIP source to order clients, those small group of investors that you're going to work with in order to be specifically focused around what they want, which is ultimately what you are wanting to build as well. So what you're going to find by reaching out to those investors, you are going to kiss a lot of frogs, but the fact is that this extra bit of effort is going to allow you to find the right people to be working with longer term. It also means that all of that activity that you're going through now in terms of your lead generation, your relationship building, all of those different things, they're going to benefit when the deal does come through, which it inevitably will. If you're doing the work consistently and persistently, you will find that those deals will come through. The speed at which you can package that deal is now imperative to not only the relationship that you have with those people, the reputation that you have, but really for your own confidence. If you can get that deal packaged up and sold really fast, it's going to do the world of good for packaging up more and more of those deals. It's also, of course, going to do a world of good for the relationships that you are building with all of the different parties, which further down the line, when you start to look at expanding what it is that your business is doing, or potentially looking to grow your own property investment portfolio, you're going to have opportunities such as joint ventures. You're going to have a power team in terms of your building contractors. All of these things will stem from this work that you are putting in now. and more importantly, the focus that you are putting in now as well. Now, the other good thing about having this specific list of investors is that it's going to be much easier to communicate with them on a regular basis. So, of course, by having that small group and having that focus on your area and your strategy, you're going to be able to nurture those relationships over the long haul. You're not pressured to find them deals as quickly as possible. What you're actually doing is preparing them for the work that you're doing, the effort that you're putting in, updating them on market conditions, what's happening in the local area, areas to watch for, areas to avoid. All of these things are going to be building that relationship up. Now, why is this? Because ultimately the deals, when they come through, you're going to have to progress them. And what happens with progression is if you don't progress that deal properly, you don't keep communications up, you don't nurture those relationships all the way through, you've got a good chance that a deal may fall through, costing you money and your reputation, and again, your confidence. So it's very important to nurture those investors that you pick up as you go along, even the ones where you're not packaging up deals on a regular basis. You're keeping them on side, you're keeping them updated. That means when the time does come where one of those deals comes through, they're going to be ready there with the money, ready to take that deal on and make you a very happy deal packager indeed. So it's very important. This is something that we take from our Insider Circle success stories, and unfortunately not everyone that comes through the Insider Circle is successful. Now, we give the tools, the advice, the training, the support that we can in order to give you the best chances of success. But what we see when it comes to investors, deal packaging, alignment, is that the ones who focus specifically on a strategy in an area that they're interested in, who don't get distracted by investors telling them that they want deals for multiple different strategies, they are the ones that are the most successful and the most consistent in terms of generating more than one deal. Those that are not successful, unfortunately, are those that go against our advice, against our training, against our judgment, and basically go out and try and build massive lists. They try and generate leads for all sorts of deals all over the UK. And very quickly, the overwhelm sets in. They get distracted, their confidence lacks, and they go off searching for the new magic solution that unfortunately does not exist. So what I want you to take from this session, which is really, really important, is this focus on what you're interested in the area that you want to build a portfolio in. Now what you want to be doing as you're generating those leads, as you're building up that relationship up after you are building up the network, you also want to be simultaneously building up that list of investors, no more than 5 VIP clients who you're going to work with directly. You are going to have people that are interested that are in over and above the 5. Put them onto a list. So that list doesn't need to be hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands big. It can literally be 20 or 30 people that just haven't made it to your top 5. But the point is that top 5 are going to be qualified by you. You're going to have nurtured the relationships with them. You're going to be maintaining regular contact so that when that lead does turn into a deal and you need someone to move fast and take that deal forward as quickly as possible and justify paying the fee that you charge and have no question overdoing that, and even more importantly, buy multiple deals from you, that is when you're going to have the success, the consistency, the confidence to build a serious long-term deal packaging business that also benefits from all the fringes such as joint venture partners, networks, builders, all that thing that will come from approaching your deal packaging business in exactly this way.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Another great session 41 there. I meant to ask you a question at this point, but I haven't got one prepared. It's been very busy.
I think what's important, it's all right, I'll bail you out on this one, Brad. That's fine. Let me just remember what I said. No, what's really important, I think the key takeaways, like I said before, there's a bit of a twist here in the sense that, unfortunately, the reality is that there is no black and white answer to this. It's not a case of find the investor first, then go and start your business, or find the deal first, then go and find your investor. The reality is you've got to do it together. You've got to do it simultaneously. You have to build up your business around the interest that you have. Don't be led by others. And I think that's what's really important, is the first thing to do before you do anything is get clarity on what you want to source, the deal strategy that you want to follow, the area that you want to invest in for yourself. Align yourself then with the investors, but find those investors as you're generating leads, because lead generation, unless you are incredibly fortunate, will generally take time to gather momentum. So you need to get that process started as quickly as possible, but you can at the same time be building those relationships up with investors. Where people really start to stress out is when they get a deal agreed and then they go and try and package that up to a list of investors that they don't even know, and then they get disappointed when no one comes forward for the deal that they think is great. Or even worse, they get time wasters that come through and basically upset every relationship that you've taken that time to build. So really focus on what you want to achieve first. Align yourself and your business with that. Go and align yourself with the investors that are aligned with that, and you have a recipe for deal packaging success.
Great stuff. And we've got a freebie, a free downloadable resource for you, which accompanies Mark's Sourcing with Mark session. It's actually an investor questionnaire. So this is a list of all the questions which you might and should want to ask a new investor that you want to essentially become a VIP investor. So you're using this as a filtering process, really, aren't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to ensure that you're working with the right people, and in order to work with the right people, you need to put in some effort. And that's the biggest mistake that a lot of deal packages make, is they try and do it easily and quickly and the lazy way. And actually this will make you stand out from the rest. And this is a bit of a head start, really, in terms of the questionnaire that we have used, and yeah, our members use, and it's hopefully going to help those that are listening today.
Okay, so get that investor questionnaire download at goliathsourcingacademy.com/session 41. A couple of things before we go. If you've enjoyed this podcast, if you've got some value out of it, please, first off, let other people know. Lots of people in the property community know a lot of other people. So just have a think about who might be interested in the content that we've talked about today. If you've got value from this, we'd be really grateful if you could leave us a review, a Facebook review. So if you go to reviewgoliath.com, that will take you straight through to our Facebook reviews section of our Facebook page. Alternatively, just go to the reviews section of our Goliath Sourcing Academy Facebook page and leave us a review, preferably a positive one. I think we've got 20. What have we got here? We've got 23 people have left us 5 out of 5 reviews, which is great. So race is on to be the 24th. And also, yeah, we've done the review thing. Please do share with other people. But if you want to get involved in property and you want a great starting point, particularly deal packaging, the Insider Circle, our membership programs, are a really great first step, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to make sure that our training was accessible for all and accessible when you need it the most. Unfortunately, the benefit of having been online for all of this time and focusing on our innovative online e-learning techniques that we do over anyone that's just decided to go online since this pandemic set in, it allows you to get the most from your online learning, and of course the support network around you by way of our private members group as well. So if you're interested in training that's accessible when you need it the most, for the support of the community as well as the experts when you need it, for a very affordable monthly subscription cost, then definitely check out the Insiders Circle.
Yeah, so that's goliathsourcingacademy.com/insiders with an S, Insiders Circle. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you on the next one. I'll leave Mark with the final word as ever.
So thanks everyone. Hopefully you found this session a useful one. Remember, it is a fantastic time to be starting your property businesses. Whilst it might not be the time to find those specific deals right now, what it is time to do is build those relationships up for when the time is right. The money and the investment of your time will benefit you long term if you do it straight away. So that's us. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. And as always, take care everyone, and happy sourcing.